Numerology Guides, Life Path Number 8, the Complete Guide. What is Life Path Number 8? The life path number, also known as the destiny number, is the number that results from the numerological reduction of your date of birth. It offers insight about the core of your personality, and will also give you a greater understanding of the pathway to success in your life. Life path number 8 is a hard-working, goal-oriented, and some might say materialistic sign. You have an iron will, and a blunt, honest style that doesn't endear you to everyone, but gives you the power to stick to your guns in even the toughest situations. Number 8s aren't the best at taking advice because they want to be the one making all the choices. You're highly ambitious, and, perhaps rightly, wary of other people trying to either sabotage you, or capitalize on your success. You have a powerhouse personality that fills you with energy when dealing with tough situations. You're never happier than when you're facing a challenge, especially one that lesser beings have deemed impossible. It won't surprise you to hear that 8's path meaning is practically made for success in business. Your iron will, your ambition, and your great nose for character are the perfect storm for being the perfect business person. Outside of business, 8 seeks relationships where she can take control. You're not the best at compromise, and it takes some time for you to be willing to loosen the reins even a little bit in a relationship. You have strong visions about what you want in life, and it's very unlikely that any numerology definition is going to sway you away from what you want in the world. With that in mind, read through the advice below with your personal goals constantly at the forefront of your mind. You want to apply what you read to your personal life, rather than discounting it because that's not me, which is something that 8s are very prone to do with any advice that doesn't fit them 100%. You also have a strong intuitive sense of the relationship between past, present, and future. You cannot ever fully let go of your past, nor do you ever want to, even if there are parts of it you're not proud of. But you will also never lose sight of your future. You can barely act in any way without some thought of how your action will affect your future goals. Using numerology, people on Life Path 8 can come to have a better, more rounded understanding of their own natural personality traits and impulses, and by learning about these, can find the best way to use them to find success and achieve their goals. By unlocking the path meaning of Life Path 8, and coming to a fuller understanding of how it affects your outlook on life, you can use the positive points of the 8th path to your advantage, and find ways to avoid becoming entrapped by the negative parts. Life Path Number 8 in love and romance. Because of your incredibly strong-willed nature, and your desire for material success above all other things, you may have some difficulty forming relationships. You're prone to seeing people as tools towards success rather than thinking beings. This isn't you being heartless. Most of the time, it's very practical, and doesn't stop you from treating people courteously. However, while that's true for business and casual relationships, it can be a stumbling block in romances. In order to counteract this, you must find a partner with practically supernatural powers of serenity. A 2 or a 6 are the most emotionally sensitive of the life paths, and they will be the most willing to work with you through your more controlling moments. When you enter a relationship with one of these phenomenally patient people, you may at first feel like everything is going exactly how you want it, and plow ahead with your will. You will make all the choices, and your partner will let you do so without any sort of protest. However, you will soon become conscious that you are receiving less pushback than normal. Then, you'll become self-conscious when you start making decisions without consulting your partner. You'll start consulting them more, and appreciating their opinions more. Therefore, through the saintly use of something almost like reverse psychology, they will help you become more conscious of your tendencies and correct them, without ever criticizing you outright. To summarize, you're a match made in heaven. You will doubtless be successful in these relationships, and quickly develop a respect for your partner's quiet wisdom, that will lead you to listen extremely closely to whatever they have to say when they speak up. From a very practical perspective, you can also have very successful relationships with 4s, because they are so sensible. You're the big picture person, and they're the details person, which means that you can successfully complete almost anything, including having a good relationship. However, sometimes you will feel a 4 is plodding and boring, and sometimes a 4 will resent 8's controlling tendencies. Sometimes you're better suited as work partners than romantic partners. It depends on the people. 8 will butt heads quickly with a 1 or a 5, since both of these life path numbers are extremely dedicated to their own goals or freedom. If you manage to find a 1 whose goals perfectly align with yours, you can make a spectacular power couple, but don't hold your breath. Even the smallest difference could cause a brutal explosion between you. A note: remember, as always, that numerological compatibility is not a substitute for the human factor that makes all of us unique. If it were as easy as compatible destiny numbers, you might as well be the exact same person as anyone born on the same day. Always take personal variations into account. Life path number 8 in career and business. Career and business is where number 8's meaning really shines. You are very unlikely to have any problems in this field, as business acumen comes naturally to you. You have a deeply ingrained sense of what is a smart business move and what isn't, including the type of people who you should involve in your business dealings. Because taking orders isn't your favorite thing, 8s make great entrepreneurs and startup leaders. However, if you can swallow your pride a little bit in order to get past the initial challenges of taking orders, you can also be extremely successful in more traditional business settings. Don't worry, you won't be taking orders for long. It won't be long before your superiors notice your incredible skills and the amazing results you're getting, and start shuffling you up the ranks. Don't be afraid to show off and tell them point blank how great you are at your job, and how important you are to the company. As soon as you have the results to back it up, which will be soon, people will want to see. The big pitfall that many 8s face in the business world is that sometimes you can get a touch unscrupulous. It may only be a minor exaggeration to say that when success is on the line, you don't want to compromise it for things as slippery as morals. Make sure to give your moral framework some serious thought, and not to toss it aside any time an opportunity for success contradicts it. Sometimes, it's much better, in the long run, to turn down an initial success in favor of morals. That's something else that people will notice and appreciate over time. Because you are so tied to the past, having done unscrupulous things in the past also seems relatively more likely to come back and bite an 8. You may become so severely haunted by guilt that you can't get things done, yet very unwilling to share your guilt with anyone else for fear of compromising the success you worked so hard for. Because you have such a powerful view of the importance of the material world, you also run the risk of becoming stingy or overly materialistic. There is an important balance to be struck between the physical and the spiritual, and striking that balance is something that well-adjusted 8s can do very successfully. Be open about your interests, and you will find yourself living a much more honest and successful life than if you try to conceal the fact that you're after money and prestige. There's no shame in it, but there will be people who prefer not to associate with you. That's just fine, let them avoid you, and focus on courting the favor of people who share your values. Not everyone has to think the same way. There's enough room in this world for a wide variety of opinions on success, including both very materialistic and very anti-materialistic people. You don't need to please everyone. Finding fulfillment on life path number 8 is mentioned above. I am quite certain that you already know what you really want for fulfillment, and it's just a matter of getting there. You can find fulfillment in life by being honest with both yourself and others about your goals. Destiny number 8 does not take kindly to being tramped down. You will find you have less pushback from others when you are upfront about your goals. This will minimize the number of people who are likely to look at your ambition, your material interests, and your occasionally flexible morals, and deem you shady. Instead, people are more likely to respect you, even if their own goals are very different. Sometimes, because you tend to put material success above relationships, you will find yourself feeling somewhat lost in your interpersonal relationships. You may find that people are getting an impression of you that is quite at odds with what you wish they'd think of you. Work intentionally on listening to others, and appreciating the advice of your friends and partners, and you will find much more success in your relationships. People will appreciate feeling like they're being listened to, and you'll be surprised at how much more willing they will be to listen to you in return. This is something that you can practice immediately. Next time someone is talking to you, actively listen, and consider each suggestion or piece of advice that they offer with the most genuine intensity you can muster. Over time, practicing this in your relationships will prevent you from feeling like you're constantly swimming against a current of stupid people resisting you for no good reason. You'll be amazed at how much smoother things go when you massage your relationships just a little. Pay attention to your loved ones, and brainstorm ways to show your affection for them that don't involve being a good provider. Non-monetary displays of love are very important, and will prevent you from attracting gold-digging types who are just trying to get material goods from you. Gift-giving may be your love language, but it isn't everyone's, and sometimes your family, partner, or friends would appreciate a few hours of your time, uninterrupted and undisturbed by your work, far more than they would appreciate even the most expensive gift. By focusing more on your relationships, you can strike a more comfortable balance between work and other fields of your life. This doesn't mean that you should give up your hard work, far from it. Being a workaholic is one of the things that makes you you, and in numerology, 8 is always going to be a materially driven person. But this really doesn't mean that work has to be your only focus. It is possible to split your time between multiple priorities without sacrificing any of them. Hardworking 8 should be very well aware of this. It may take a little scheduling, or take a bite out of your free time, but if you take relationship building as a priority, and you can make it happen. By building better relationships, you will feel happier and more fulfilled over time, even without relinquishing any of the grip you have on your business priorities. Take all of this into account when you are deciding how to divvy up your time. Time is your most precious and useful resource, so decide how much you need to allocate to your business, and how much you need to allocate to your relationships, in order to have the type of success you want and need in both those fields. Final thoughts. There's almost no point in telling an 8 numerology, because you already have such a strong sense of yourself and your path. While reading this, you may have felt the urge to double down, thinking, what does this person know about me anyway? This is a very fair reaction, and totally understandable for 8s who don't take kindly to being told what to do. So don't think of any of the above as orders or instructions. Think of them instead as suggestions for things that you can possibly consider doing, keep in the back of your mind over time, and maybe pull out sometime in the future. Your personality fits well into today's world, and you're destined for a great deal of success in fields that are very important to modern life, especially business. You have all the natural qualities that make you a great leader and boss, and you'll be cheating yourself if you don't take full advantage of them. At the same time, I would be remiss if I didn't caution you to dedicate a bit of your energy to building better relationships with others. I understand that this will never be the absolute top of your priority list, as it is to a 2 or a 6, but it is both possible and necessary for you to find a healthy balance. At times, it will seem like you're having to dampen yourself in order to do it, and if this is how you're feeling, then you may need to stop and re-evaluate, but for the most part, taking a little time to massage your relationships is well worth the trouble. Remember, nothing you do will matter to the world if it doesn't matter to the individuals of the world. You need to cultivate those individuals' good opinions if you want to truly find success, which, to all you 8s out there, I know you do. Can you feel the power of your life path number 8? Are you deeply in tune with the material world, and consider its values some of the highest and most important in your life? Do you sometimes struggle in your relationships, because you see people as subordinate to material values? How will you harness your destiny number's natural energy to fulfill your goals and reach your dreams? Please like this video if you found it useful or enjoyable. Share it to share the advice contained here with other people.